Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us for another edition of Texas Insider TV. I'm Jim Cardle. We're pleased to provide you part two of our two-part interview with State Representative Raul Torres from House District 33, running for Senate District 20 against incumbent Chuy Hinojosa. Representative, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me again. Appreciate the opportunity to talk to you about these important issues.
Well, we talked earlier in this two-part series, and I want to get back briefly, if I can, about the government efficiencies that you brought and talked about the Lean Six Sigma. That's the number 6, and you passed a bill that applied to the Texas Workforce Commission and has seen great improvements. Again, just give us a brief recap of that, if you can.
Senate Bill 563 was a bill that established a pilot program within the confines of TWC, and they took that legislation and implemented it beginning in January this past year. And for 6 months, they implemented this methodology called Lean Six Sigma. It's kind of new for most Americans,
okay.
But in industry, it's not new. It's a system that works to streamline operations for consistency and quality, but at the same time eliminating the waste in the process in delivering that product or that service. So this pilot program was enacted, and the report was released on August the 1st and came back with amazing results. 50% cost savings, 50% or greater in efficiencies, so that their output or their production was doubled for the same amount of money, you might say. So here's a proven agency that shows that if the state was to adopt this statewide,
and we're talking about the Texas Workforce Commission in this case.
If that agency was to adopt it, and if all the state agencies were to enact this methodology over the next 2 or 3 years or 4 years, we could possibly realize a cost savings to Texas taxpayers of approximately 20 to 25 billion, that's with the B, per biennium budget year. That's phenomenal. That's about 20-25% of the entire general revenue budget.
So we talked last time about the more specific aspects of the program. That's the bigger picture. How about one final question, if I can, as it pertains to the private sector? There's more efficiency and quicker response time, but are there any comparisons or analysis yet about how much private sector man hours go to working per public sector employee?
Well, according to a report that the Texas Public Policy Foundation generated for me based on some data I gave them, it seems that in Texas, it shows that for every public sector job that is approved in Texas and funded, we need 6 private sector jobs to pay for that one public sector job. So I'm thinking out loud to myself, what if we could reduce that one public sector job through efficiency?
Okay.
Save that $40,000-$50,000 a year. Would it not then free up the money in the private sector for future economic growth? And I think the answer would be yes.
Clearly it would, not to mention the public sector, the government employees being reallocated to other areas of need within those agencies.
Yes,
so,
yes.
Congratulations on your work there. Let's jump, if we can. Again, ladies and gentlemen, we're visiting with State Representative Raul Torres, State Representative and an accountant from South Texas in House District 33. You're running for State Senate District 20 against Chuy Hinojosa. Tell us, I want to get into the specifics so that our listeners can really understand what you as a candidate or candidates go through. You've got to open various offices around the district. You go from Corpus Christi down to McAllen, Edinburgh. Tell us about, for instance, what you've been doing the last week and how you're starting to launch some campaign initiatives with less than 50 days to go.
Well, this past week we basically run from the Valley back to Corpus, back to the Valley. It's a constant amount of travel time every week because we're building our infrastructure in the South because we didn't have anything there.
You're putting the miles on the pickup truck.
Oh, absolutely. I put in almost 13,000 miles in 2.5 months, so
wow.
Quite a bit. Now, the really exciting thing is that you see the momentum building. You see people coming together, wanting to know more about you, asking you the tough questions, and how you're going to solve their problems.
Okay.
Just last week, we had a lunch with about 40 different business people who came together voluntarily just to hear me talk. And it was, you could just feel their excitement when they left the room, saying, we can support you, we like your ideas, and we think you'll be good for our area. Now, these are complete strangers prior to that meeting, but they're business owners who are concerned about their community, they're concerned about their businesses, and they know a good idea when they hear one.
So you have these policy, or grass tops is probably the right phrase, the business leaders, the community leader meetings during the day. I would imagine every night, tell us if you are, how many doors you're knocking on,
Absolutely.
and what a strategic plan it is to go door
Absolutely.
knocking.
As of this past Friday, we've knocked on over 9,500 doors in roughly 6 weeks.
9,500 in 6 weeks.
6 weeks. And our goal is to do between 25,000 to 30,000 by the end of October, right before Election Day.
You have a website anymore. It's the case that all campaigns have websites. electraultorres.com is your website.
That's right.
Talk about how the younger population, perhaps in this southern Texas district, are you doing Facebook, Twitter, et cetera?
Yes, sir.
What have you got going
Yes,
there?
sir. We've embraced all of the social media popular avenues. Our Facebook is very active with over 2,000 something plus people.
Really?
Our Twitter is I think there was a website who said I was the most followed elected official in my area on Twitter. Looks like I'm getting a reputation in Austin as well for being on Twitter.
I wouldn't doubt it. You're a former conservative talk radio show host down there.
Yes.
It's probably showing benefits at this
Absolutely.
stage.
And we got a tremendous YouTube following as well. We've had hundreds upon hundreds of people view our YouTube videos that we got over 30 of them now posted. Each one that touches base on an issue that we think is relevant to our society, and giving people a better in-depth look at who is Raul Torres, where does he stand on these issues, and what can I expect from him once he becomes senator.
How about if folks want to go to that TV station? I believe it's Torres TX TV.
Torres TX TV. So
On
it's
YouTube.
youtube.com/Torres TX TV.
And
No, I'm sorry, TVTX. Forgive me.
TVTX. You are to be commended. We follow those trends, and certainly cranking out a video or two a week, much more than a lot of campaigns, even congressional campaigns, have been doing. How about if I can get down into not the weeds, but into a more specific subject, and that has to do in the Texas Senate. It takes 2/3 majority to bring a bill to the floor. Republicans have been just one person short, one office short. Is that something you're able to talk about, or that constituents understand you could be the final?
Absolutely. I think it's important for all the voters of Texas to understand that we have a unique time and opportunity in Texas history. For the first time in Texas history, the Republican Party has an opportunity, Jim, to have 21 Republican senators. That is powerful to be able to ensure that the conservative agenda can now be heard in the Texas Senate without being impeded because we don't have enough votes to even bring it on the Senate floor for discussion. And so because of that, we have a tremendous opportunity to get some big, bold legislation taken care of during the next legislative session, which in and of itself should be very exciting for everyone who cares about Texas politics and who cares about the future of Texas.
Okay, I like your optimism. I can see why it would have some cachet down there, but let's be realistic. You are running in a very difficult district, a traditionally Democrat part of the state. What do you see as your outlook, and what are the chances of you at the last moment? How are you going to get across the goal line?
Well, we're going to keep working face-to-face with these voters. We're getting over an 80% approval rate down in Deep South Texas. Over 80% approval rate. We're getting over 90% in my home county of Nueces. Getting great face-to-face support from these voters. We're pushing out our messages over social media. Once we start radio and TV, he is going to be in the fight of his life. And I firmly predict that we're going to win, and we're going to surprise a lot of people in Texas. And with that will come all the good government ideas that we have to come with us, and the great need we need to help reshape South Texas into a powerful economic region for Texas.
How about specifically your volunteers? Are you finding volunteers?
Absolutely. We have an army of volunteers. We have mostly middle-aged to young people. We block walk every night. 8 or 10 people on the average show up every night. Some drive 40 miles round trip just to come volunteer for us.
Wow.
They're homeschoolers, they're college students, they're high school students, they're retirees that come and work together because they believe in this cause for a good government. And that's what I believe attracts them to us, and to give them an opportunity to participate in their government at the way that's very personable for them. Same thing down in the valley. We started with nobody, and now we're block walking every night down there, reaching out to the voters. Just this past Friday, we did 350 homes in one night. It's just absolutely just mind-boggling, the amount of pace we got to get our message out. But the really exciting thing is just the opportunity to reshape Texas. The people in South Texas are struggling. They have 12% unemployment, almost 50% high school dropout rate. they have nowhere to look but up, and they're hurting. This incumbent has failed them for now 10 years and more. If longer, if you want to include his state rep term, he has not been their voice, and we are going to represent their values, and we're going to represent their voices in Austin.
Representative Raul Torres, good work. Congratulations on your progress so far, and for the next 40-some days, best of luck to you.
Thank you, Jim. And if I can finally add this, please go visit us at electraultorres.com, and please join us and be part of our team. Make a contribution, or come on down to South Texas and help us get the message out.
One of the soon-to-be and in the progress of being hardest-fought races, certainly one of the most watched and talked about, Raul Torres. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Jim.
Be sure and tune back in for future editions of Texas Insider TV, where you'll see other representatives like State Rep Raul Torres, electraultorres.com. Appreciate you joining us. I'm Jim Cardle. Thanks.